Everybody, afternoon. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. Thought we'd go ahead and do our drawing today, and for this book, I'm going to draw for a couple of packs of wire ties, one reusable one, and a hardback 94 handbook. Guys, I hit 802 subscribers today. I appreciate it. Y'all don't know how much it means to me. Y'all like listening to me, and we're going to keep doing this as long as y'all want to hear me. And we got another book at 900, and we're going to do some kind of radio with 1,000. So let's see who won this. Had a dozen entries. All right, let's see what we got here. Jim McLean, KK4VQV. I'll get this in the mail to you tomorrow, Jim. Thanks for entering. Let me set that right here where I'll keep up with it, and I'll get that out in the mail to you in the morning. Got a couple of little subjects we're going to talk about today. One, there's going to be a picture in here of Adam WW5AH is the type of ballot he uses for a loop antenna. I think he's got 250 something foot of wire in a ground loop, which is, I'm assuming, as high in a tree as you can get it in a big circle around his house. I know a buddy of mine did one of them years ago, and that's how he did it. And Adam has some real good signals on it, and he's able, out of all the 10 meter people, he's probably furthest from me, and I have a good S7, S8 signal on him here, ground wave with it. So another option on the antenna somebody might think about. I'll have it on there. Got a picture I'm going to share with y'all, and it'll be on here, but that's it. It's a picture of my first shack back in 91, probably 92 time frame. It's in the corner of a bedroom. I had my original 701 on there, my first HF rig. I had an Alinco 110 2 meter mobile hooked up to a PK88 packet modem through a dumb terminal. Now, we didn't even have a computer at this time. The talkie on the desk, there's a couple of talkies. They were fire service talkies because I was a volunteer fireman at the time. Weather alert radios there. You'll see my Astron power supply peeking out behind there. And to show you guys I've been on a budget with this hobby for so long, I got upgraded to technician in fall of 91, and this was the following year, 92, when we went out to the big hamcom I used to have out at Arlington. And I bought that 110 brand new, Alinco 110. I think it was on sale for like $99. And the 112 had just come out, and the only big difference in the two, the 112 had a backlit display and the 110 didn't. And the 112, I believe, was about $30 higher. And I had to buy the 110 because that's all the money I had. So that shows you how why I've run this hobby on a budget for so long. But it worked great. Used it a lot of years. In fact, I'm probably the reason it finally broke. Years later, I'm in the Air Force Reserve, and I had it in my truck. Well, I wouldn't leave it under the dash of my pickup at night in the hotel. It was real easy to pop out. And I got in a hurry one morning, popped it back in there, and somehow managed to hook the power wire up backwards and blow the fuse on it. And pretty quick after that, the display died. But I got probably 10, 12 years use out of it. So it was a good radio. But you might get a kick out of seeing how simple that shack would be there. And mine ain't much different than it is now. Got a social media thing we're going to talk about. And this guy put on here, I have to say I'm kind of disappointed in the sad state of ham radio. I just drove over 2,000 miles, called out on 146.52, opened a repeater book, called out on repeaters the entire way. Not one person replied even once. People talk smack about Pi-Star hotspots, but you know what did work? My hotspot. Anytime I wanted to make contact, but when I was calling out on actual simplex frequencies and actual repeaters, nothing across a large portion of the U.S. Not one person replied or was heard talking. I even left my repeater on my radio on local repeaters while stationary at hotels overnight, not one peep. Kind of starting to feel like a waste of time, space, and effort bringing a ham radio and traveling anymore. People say I wouldn't rely on a hotspot, but that was the only thing to work, successfully make contacts. Well, I've kind of seen the same thing myself, and I don't have a good answer for it. The big thing is these things right here. These things is taking over personal communications. Whether we like it or not, that's the truth of the matter. Like I've told y'all before, I drive once a month a round trip to Azle, Texas, and it's about 260 miles from here across central Texas. I've got repeaters programmed in from right here 16 miles from me in Clarksville through Paris, Bonham, Sherman. I think I've got 3 Sherman repeaters programmed in, 2 in Gainesville, 1 in Decatur, and 2 in Azle. And I've been doing this for carrying a radio for well over a year. I carry one of my 8-watt Bofang with a mag mount in my truck, and don't do it when I'm taking my dad out there. When I come back by myself or going to get him by myself, I have made a grand total in a year of 3 QSOs on repeaters. I've never heard a person on a Sherman repeater, and I usually ID on 3 of them going through there. Never heard anybody on a Gainesville repeater or Decatur. I've worked 2 stations in Azle, and I think 1 station on Bonham. Of course, Clarksville, there's always somebody hanging around on Clarksville, but it's down right now, I think. But there's just not much repeater work. The club repeaters in Texarkana, there's usually some traffic on them, and people will answer you on them. I don't know what the answer is. I'm going to say something that probably may catch a little flack for, but if you hear my reasoning out, I think you'll understand. I'm glad that they cut the code requirement out. I really am. I've told y'all earlier videos why I had trouble learning the code. But however, I did learn 5 words per minute when I took my novice ticket. And when they redone the licensing, I really wish they'd have left. I'm glad they eliminated the 13 and 20 words per minute, but I really wish they'd have left the novice technician path in place, even learning 5 words per minute code, because as deaf as I was then, and still am, I believe anybody could learn the 5 words per minute code. But the big reason is if you got your novice ticket and you wanted to talk on the air, you had to get on 10 meters. And getting a tech ticket was like your next reward, so you could get on 50 megahertz on up. Now, with people automatically going straight to tech, and even though they've got 10 meter privileges, you'd be surprised at the amount of people I see on social media that don't realize they've got 10 meter voice privileges. Afraid if you depend on strictly talkies and repeaters, you're probably going to get bored with this hobby. And I don't want to see you get bored with it. I want to see you stay in it, because I don't want you to let your ticket go back after 10 years. So if you're a tech, try to get on 10. Used HF rig, a straight 10 meter mobile rig, and a dipole, you can work the world with it. I was up at Cody's yesterday. He's just running 10 meter homemade dipole, probably 20 feet in the air, and he's talking all over the world with it. Same thing I did when I started. I got a Japan card up there right now from a homemade dipole about 28, 30 feet in the air with a 25 watt Ranger radio. And 10 meters open, you don't take that much to get on there. So just something to think about. Guys, again, I appreciate everybody who subscribed. Main trading company's had a lot of sales going on. I don't know how they're, I think they're, if it snows on Christmas, it's free sales just about over, but check him out for used gear. He's got a lot of used gear on that site. Y'all keep an eye out on all your Facebook pages and Ham Club pages for info. There'll be some slides on here at the back of this. I'll have the picture of my first shack. I'll have a couple of ham fests that are coming up. Minden is next Saturday, and Fort Worth is 22nd, I think, of January. So there'll be a couple of advertising slides on there. There'll always be the round table info, Farmersville sidewalk sale info. Like I said, the last slide you see will always be me and old Ham Radio Cat. 802 subscribers. Never thought we'd get this far. Thanks again. I appreciate it. Congratulations to our winner. I'll get the book out to you. KB5 MIQ Big Boy 73.